hope you've brought some questions. I hope you, the viewer, have brought some value to this venue to add to the value that I'm hopefully going to be providing to you in this April public live stream 2025. Hope you caught that grammar video I just put out where I pretty much give a breakneck lesson in like 30 minutes of how to syntax a perceived trespass and then how to give some pointers on how to correspond back using correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar. Of course, I concentrate only on the grammar mechanics. I don't share any of the postal mechanics, flag mechanics, banking mechanics, and things like that. Well, I share some of the banking mechanics, which have to do with grammar mechanics as well. But it also goes into other things that I would not share on this channel because this is a grammar channel. So welcome, welcome. I might as well just announce here, if I didn't announce it already in another live stream, that I've broken, finally, 6,000 subs. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I appreciate everyone who participates in the chat, the live chat, and the comments field. Well, I think what I'm going to do today, one of the things I'm going to do, is christen this new fiction instrument I received, this. And by christen it, I mean tow it as a salvage, okay? When I lived in Arizona, I had, and this is before I knew anything about correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar. I received I paid for a driving license that did not expire until 2035 in Arizona, 2035. And I think I got that license in like 2009, something like that, which is crazy, right? But in Michigan, the license only lasts like 4 years at a time, which I guess, I mean, theoretically, you could say, well, we'll give you this certification. I'm talking about it from a perspective, all right? One perspective would be, we're giving you this certification, which we've tested you for, that you know how to operate and navigate a motor vehicle. We're giving you this certification. It will last 4 years. And when you're done with that 4 years, when this expires, you have to go back and test again to make sure that you remember how to do everything and it's safe for you to be there. I can see that. That makes sense. I mean, operating a motor vehicle can be dangerous. It's very dangerous. More dangerous than an Airbus, for example. But no, that's not what happens. They're just worried about money. Every 4 years, you got to pay to get this. Doesn't matter if you know how to drive or not. If at one time you got one of these and you have money, you will be able to continue to get this throughout your life, whether you remember how to drive or not, as long as you renew it, which, like most things in the fiction system, just don't really make that much logical sense unless you follow the money. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to reach into my, where did it go? Oh, here it is. My big folder bag. I do also have a briefcase, but I carry this sometimes with me, which has, you know, ink, business cards, stamps, all the essentials in creating document, contract, postal vessel, court venues, claims, you know, things like that, copies of claims, everything I need. But most importantly, what I'm looking at today is I'm going to get out one of my magic stashes of these things that I was fortunate enough to buy a bunch of a few years ago, because now they're very, very expensive. And of course, I'm talking about the Red Fox stamp. So that's like half a sheet. How much does a whole sheet go for these days? $269 for a full sheet. $269 for this. Are you serious right now? When I bought them, they were like 50 to 80 bucks per sheet. 50 to 80 bucks. So what's going to happen is I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to place it on the back of this instrument that I paid for. But this is not my instrument. Interesting, though, the way they've modified this. The one I had before said Michigan, and then right underneath Michigan, it said driver's license. But now it says it over here. So there's a huge break in the continuance of the evidence there. Really wild stuff. I was thinking about putting a Red Fox stamp on here and then autographing over the stamp, canceling the stamp, thus taking jurisdiction over this as postmaster, letter carrier, so on and so forth. Federal judge, banker, I know that gets some people's panties in a bunch, but it is what it is. I give two shits, really. And I was thinking about putting a piece of clear tape over that, because I noticed in the 4 years that I carried the other one as a salvage that my name, my punctuated name that I put with a extra thin Sharpie on here, would smear. Even though I put it in a special wallet and all that stuff, of course it would smear. And if you use a regular pen, a regular pen, it doesn't really show up. So I have to use a Sharpie. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of tape, clear tape over that, if I have some. And I do. Is this clear, though? We have to do a test. Oh, yeah, it's clear. We're good. We're good. You guys are on the cutting edge of postal mechanics right here, right now. I've invited you in. I'm sharing with you the cutting edge of postal mechanics right now. Cutting edge technology, bro. For real. And this is how I would tow this as a salvage. C treaty, okay? And this as a derelict vessel floating in the sea of space, awash, because it's an all cap name. It's not my name. Whose name is that? I don't fucking know. All right. So this has hooked up to this and now is towing it as a salvage, because this has my correct name over this Red Fox stamp. So this has authority because this comes from knowledge. Authority comes from knowledge and cognition of knowledge, which comes from the cognition of your sensation, your port of sensation, of which you are the port authority. It's as simple as that, folks. It is as simple as that. So let's go. All this information on the back, it has to do with them, has nothing to do with me. In this vessel, it has to do with their perception of what is connected to this vessel through the birth certificate system. The only thing I'm concerned about is putting this on there, my punctuated name, and connecting it to my claim of the live life. This is a document contract court judge claim that I made once. You can see this is like old stuff. This is really old stuff that I haven't really looked through in a long time. This is my favorite volition claim. This has remained the same throughout the years. Domicile contract. I have life claims for my children. I have done so many claims. It's like going through a rabbit hole of my own making, bro. Oh yeah. And when I first created my CPAS-C treaty, I created something I called For the Closure of the CPAS Mechanics and Federal Rules of the Civil Conduct, i.e. procedure, 12B1 through 12B6, is with the finite means by this document, vessel venue, and I give closure to everything that I'm talking about when I use 12B1 through 12B7 and red light, green light. And the finite mean for a CPAS is for the CPAS of this finite mean is with the claim of this location with the compliance of these codes with the contract terms by the claimant authority. Very, very simple. Everything I do is simple, folks. Everything I do is simple. Nothing complicated about it. Oh my goodness, what is this? Oh, folks, you're going to witness history here. This is the very first live life claim that I ever made. But my witnesses on this live life claim, and I will always keep this close to my heart. My witnesses were my two of my most favorite people on earth. My wife, Anjanette Marie Glass, and my tutor, Raven Farhad Tohidi Efarit. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. This is before I had closure under grammar, folks. My DNA sample was not even correct because back then I didn't know any better. Just so you know, for your closure, if you're going to put hair as a DNA sample on your live life claim, you must pull it out by the root, and it must contain the root. If you just clip it off, there's no DNA in it. It's just dead, whatever. It's good to know, right? Ooh. So much stuff. You're going with me down memory lane here, folks. Look, this is summary correction for the summary corrections of the civil claim methods are with the document contract claim 12B summary corrections. So I used to include a full breakdown of the 12B1 through 12B7 in claims that I would make. My workshops. This is what you would get if you went to my workshops. That's one of the worksheets you would get. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've definitely had my share of studying of that. Ooh-wee. Okay. Anyways. Not only do I have this folder that I just showed you, but I also have this folder, which is full of 100% successful correct sentence structure cases. Cases that I have taken on throughout the years and succeeded with stopping the trespass. I know, folks, I don't share this with the public. I don't. Why? Because I don't like that hero culture. I want people to get involved with the grammar because it's what they feel called to do. They're inspired to do it. I don't want them to do it because, oh, Jason's done this and that and the third, or Russell J. Gould's done this, that, and the third, or David-WYNN Miller's done this, that, or the third, or whomever. And I don't want to put my name up there on the same plane as those folks. I feel like I'm on a different plane. Whether that's above or below, that's up to your perception. But the point I'm saying is that I want people to get involved with the grammar because they want to. If you learn the grammar, then you can make it work for yourself in your own way. Everybody has their own style. Yes, there are certain mechanics that everyone can learn, just like in martial arts or boxing or whatever. Everybody can learn how to throw a jab, a hook, a straight, uppercut, overhand, all these things, right? But everybody throws them different. They have their own style. Not everybody's punches come from the same angle. Okay? Some people throw the hook like this with the thumb down. Some people throw the hook like this with the thumb up. It's like that. Some people throw a vertical fist. Some people throw that. Oh, great example. Bruce Lee. Now I'm looking at the camera here. Bruce Lee, when he would do the 1-inch punch, what he called the 1-inch punch, he would throw something that he said to have your fist like this, and then at the end of the punch, you would lift your bottom 3 knuckles to make impact, like that. To me, in my mind, logically, when I was training in boxing, I'm like, that is dumb. You're going to break your hand. You're going to break your knuckles doing that. I think what he meant was you need to catch your opponent on the tail end of that with the snap. But for me, it was like, no, that's not going to work. So I updated it, okay, to suit me. So instead of this at the end of the punch, I'm like this because there's a straight line between these 2 knuckles on my wrist. Therefore, I do not bear a minimal risk of breaking my wrist. So when I would throw the punch, instead of going like this, it would just be straight like that. Boom, like that. Worked just as well. So that's kind of like this grammar. You can learn it, and you can learn the mechanics that everyone else learns. But your own style will eventually present itself if you get closure on it. If you don't get closure on the grammar and you use it, it will become apparent to anyone else who does have closure on the grammar that you're copying someone else's work. And you can see perfect examples of this can be seen in any of Russell J. Gould's students or people that have learned from Russell J. Gould. They make the same mistakes that Russell J. Gould makes, who makes the same mistakes that David-WYNN Miller made, so on and so forth. Same thing with Mark lowercase k, who you don't hear from really anymore because I think he's been sentenced to 7+ years in prison for being convicted of attempted conspiracy to kidnap or something like that. If I see people from his neck of the woods, I can tell that they learned it from him. And the same thing with a few other folks out there. So if you don't get closure on the grammar yourself, then you're probably just parroting someone else. I'm going to go into doing my little thing here and then probably draw it to a close since I've been yapping for 30 minutes. This is like a $15 piece of paper right here, guys. Woo-wee. Scary. Okay, see? The process has begun. If Mark lowercase k goes even more crazier than he already is, they will most likely keep him longer away from the public domain. With quadruple A, Mark is away from the public domain. He's been away for about 2 years now, and he's not going to be back for at least another 6 or 5, at least another 5. My guess is he's going to get out on good behavior, probably. Because I can't see him causing any type of waves in that system. I don't really know what the prisons are like over there, and I just dropped my pen. Oh my goodness. But I can't imagine what the prisons are like over there. I don't think they're like anything like the prisons over here in the past tense United States. But they might be. I know Norwegian prisons are sort of like they're genuine correction facilities where they want to teach criminals a different way so that they are productive members of society. In the US, not so much. The prison system in the United States basically teaches criminals to become better criminals. All right, so now I'm going to autograph over this stamp with my full correct punctuated name. Okay. I'm just checking the width of the tape so I know the width of how to make my autograph. Now, again, folks, when you're doing this, if you choose to do it, because of course this is for knowledge cultivation and merriment purposes, i.e., educational and entertainment purposes, don't cover over anything that they already have on there. Only use the blank spaces. What does this say? This space available for change of address label. This space available for change of address label. I could barely read that because I'm old. On the license before this, the space was much smaller. What if there is no blank space? Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what if tomorrow never comes? I don't know. I've never seen one with no blank space. I've never personally had to deal with anything like that, so I really don't know what to tell you unless I could specifically see what you're talking about and specifically what the data is on the card. That's all I can tell you. You can only work with what you have. So now here I go. Let's see. How do I want to do this? All right, that turned out pretty good. It turned out pretty good, right? Let's let it dry. Driver's license in the Netherlands, where I am from. On the back, there is like a list of the different vehicles and the like sign of at the vehicle. The like sign of at the vehicles you are allowed to drive. I don't understand. I really don't. I do excuse. I mean, I understand that. I excuse that, but I still don't cognize what you're asking me here. I think what you're generally conveying is that there's no space on the back of it, right? Okay. So if there's no space in the back, and if there's no space in the front, am I correct in guessing that there's no space in the front? None? None to put a stamp there? Okay, now I'm going to do my little tape. All right, quadruple A. In your logical mind, how would you deal with that? If you didn't have any help whatsoever and you had a life claim with correct grammar and you had closure on the grammar, I'm creating a hypothetical situation for you, and you had a correct life claim and a correct C pass C treaty, and you had full closure on the grammar to the point where you can teach it to someone else, how would you deal with a situation like that? Just spitball it. Just guess. Because automatically I know how I would do it if I were in that situation, but I'm not you, right? Yes. To my knowledge, Mark, lowercase k, Sean Christopher is in jail on the charges of attempted kidnapping. Oh, that came out spectacular, folks. It's the first time I've ever done this. As I said, you're on the cutting edge of postal mechanics right here. Look at that. I put the tape right over. Okay, there's a little crease over here. So what? Great. Now I don't have to worry about this smearing. Okay. Bro, I need to be getting paid for this type of innovation. I'm an innovator. Where's my paycheck? Huh? How many lives am I saving? Hmm? All right, I'm being totally cheeky here, folks. Completely. Completely goofy. Put this back in my treasure trove of red fox stamps that hopefully will never, ever run out. All right. Okay, so I would get a little map or kind of transparent casing where I put the stamp. You don't see these anymore, do you, folks? I got all kinds of stamps in here. I got all kinds of registered labels. I got, of course, certified mailing green card labels. Got my little syntaxing stickers. Thank you, Joshua from Texas. Got everything right here. All right, so there we go. There it is. The salvage of a Michigan driving license with the all caps name. Finished. Done. And now I'm putting it in my wallet. Boom. Done. Easy peasy, folks. And all you got to do is learn the grammar to know how to do this type of stuff. If you learn the grammar, I'd be more than happy to guide you through the rest of the mechanics, the rest of the procedures, so on and so forth. All right. So to talk about what quadruple A brought up here, you could do that. You could do what you're talking about, of course. But more in depth, what would you do? Like, how would you be able to provide a continuous evidence for the fact that you, as a live life claimant, with a correct live life claim, correct punctuated name, and correct closure on the grammar, correct usage, ዄTI, of the 1 by 1.9 flag, how would you be able to prove that? And a continuance of the evidence in relation to that license. How would you prove it? Maybe you could explain that. And then after you answer that, I will go into what I would do if I were someone in those particular shoes. I just got a notification that Trump has exempted smartphones and computers from the new tariffs, even from China. You folks out there who are Trumpers on the Trump train, woo woo, right? All you folks that were psyched up about that, so pumped about it. If you can't see by now that he is no different than the administration that came before him on the key issues, then I would like the web address or the web link to the place where you get your rose-colored glasses. Because I want to wear the same glasses and not have a care in the world like you do. It's no different. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. I will give quadruple A. Okay, I can't answer, otherwise I would already have the answer. You can't answer. What do you mean you can't answer? You mean someone is tying up your fingers and you can't answer? You can't type? Someone's putting a piece of duct tape over your mouth? What's going on that you can't answer? I'm just giving you a hard time there. In a literal sense, you choose not to answer because you don't know. So, if I don't know something, I'm going to say, I don't know. I don't know. So if you just say you don't know, that can speed things along. So I don't know if this would work in the same way that my stuff works that I just showed you. I don't know if this will work the same way for you in where are you from? Let me look. Netherlands. I've never been to the Netherlands, so I don't know, okay, how it would work. All I can do is speculate on how I could hypothetically deal with that scenario. And this is how I would do it. I would get the little license, which let's guess that this is a Netherlands license, but there's no room on the back to put a red fox stamp without covering up fiction data. All right. So what I would do then is I would take this, make a copy of it, front and back, put it onto another document, and then I would write out a correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar, document, contract, postal vessel, court, venue, giving closure to the details of my salvaging of this particular derelict vessel, not the derelict vessel of the driving license itself, but of the derelict vessel of the all caps name. Okay? I would give closure to that, providing also the live life claim and other pertinent dictionary data, and styles manual data, and syntax key data. I would also syntax this, right? Put that in a nice maritime package with maritime bonding, and I would mail it to myself, thus achieving a registered number, which would be the perpetual case number. Once I had that, and I had all my documents in order, I would carry that with me everywhere, and then that would be my proof of carrying this particular instrument as a salvage. I would have all my paperwork explaining why this is not my document. It's someone else's document, but I'm towing it as a salvage until such time as either, number one, somebody comes forward to claim this all caps name as theirs, or it just perpetually remains being towed and I have jurisdiction over it. Stewardship. That's how I do it. That's simple. To me, it's like completely simple and logical type of stuff. But that's me. I'm where I am. You are where you are. You know what I mean? Yeah, it doesn't matter if you got the whole stream or not. This particular section is compartmentalized to you, specifically quadruple A. So I'm glad this was helpful to you. And this part will definitely be available in the member section. I see you're a member, so it will be available to you for repeated viewing so that you can maybe write some notes or whatever you want to do. I probably will not put this in the public rebroadcast of this live stream in the edited form if I have time to do that. But again, to change the subject a little bit, that's what this live stream is for folks out there in the public to come on here and ask me questions, or any of those strong-minded sharp-tongued trolls out there who have a lot to say in the comments field when it's not in the now space, but now it's in the now space and they're nowhere to be found. However, my view count tells me that there's a lot more people here that are even deciding to comment. They're all lurkers, as they would say in the streamer world. Which that's the way it is in life, man. Very, very, very few people have the cojones to step forward into the light and say anything face to face, even on a video in a comments field or a chat field, much less face to face on the street. They'll never do it. Hold on. Can I ask something about the other video you did, the IRS trespass video? I don't know. Can you? I mean, Again, is someone twisting your arm, forcing you not to ask questions? That's like my son. I've used this analogy in the past. My son will say things like, "Can I ask you a question, Dad?" It's like, I don't know. Can you? It's like, why you gotta lead up to it? Why you gotta pre-qualify what you're saying? Just say it. That's the kind of guy I am. Just say it. Just freaking come out and talk to me. Don't lead up to it. Don't try and soften the blow. Don't try and soften me up. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, quadruple A. I'm just drawing a humorous analogy in my mind. Do you think artificial intelligence is going to advance correct sentence structure? Absolutely not. No. AI is complete, from my perception and my experience, complete and utter bullshit. And it's just another way to dumb down the human psyche. That's from my own experience with AI in the past 2 years and the studies I've done. The title of the IRS letter was in capital and lowercase words. Is there any reason as to why this is? Yeah, of course there is. It's because that's the way they typed it out. I'm not them. I don't know why they type things the way they type things. I know things that relate to me and what I do. And when they all cap my name, I know what that means in the context of what I do with correct sentence structure. But as to the rest of the stuff, it doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't really affect me in any which way, shape, or form. So the answer to your question is, I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't know what that reason is. And it doesn't pertain to anything I do. It doesn't really make a difference to because I have gone up against state tax entities in the past and succeeded in stopping the trespass, regardless of the casing of their letters in the document. The sentence was written in mixed upper and lower case. Cool. As of at this point in the now space, in this juncture in the now space, it has no relevance that I know of. That I know of. There's a lot I don't know. So, I mean, but it doesn't make a difference to me because, again, anytime that I have gone up against that type of trespass, regardless of their casing of the letters, I've been able to stop the trespass. And I didn't really need to know why they did that or they didn't do that. Only they know that. And of course, they're not going to tell you. Even if you ask them, why are you all capping my name? Not my name. Okay, that's not the way someone would ask it. Let's rephrase that. Why are you writing the name Jason Matthew Glass in all caps? Even if you straight up ask them that, they're not going to answer you. Probably, my guess is 99.9%, they're not going to tell you why they're doing that. It's up to you to get closure on the grammar, and then you commandeer the vessel, and then you decide how you're going to provide a continuance of the evidence to prove a trespass in that case, if you perceive it as such. I asked the lawyer why the name is capitalized. Cool. In the context of correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, in the context of correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, in the context of correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, if a name is all capped, it means that that name, the vessel attached to that name, is no longer a live claimant. It means that they're done. They're no longer vertical. They're now horizontal. All right. And you can see that on tombstones and on birth certificates. If the name is punctuated with upper first letter of the fact and then lowercase and then hyphen, if there is a hyphen and another name attached to that compound fact, that letter, the first letter after the hyphen, would be capitalized and then following lowercase, and then a colon space, and then uppercase, whatever the letter is of the final name, and then lowercase, and then full stop. That means that you're a live claimant, or It means that you're a living, breathing creature. In the context of correct grammar. They always tell the same thing as to for the E's are the reading of the reading. Also in the fiction, it means dead entity. All caps signified a corpse, corporation, just as the term of also signifies a corporation. Well, again, Amun-Ra, that's in the context of the fiction. If you're going to get into correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar, you're going to find something different. But first, you'd have to get closure on that particular domain, the domain of quantum grammar, in order to make statements such as what you're saying. The statement you're making may apply to your perception of what the fiction is and your study of the fiction, and I understand that. But in correct sentence structure, it's different. Coincidentally, if you'd like to learn correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar, you can contact me at the email address jasonmatthewg17@gmail.com, i.e. jasonmatthewg17 at gmail.com, and apply for a workshop, and we can talk more about it. Also in the fiction, it means dead entity. I mean, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. I mean, everybody has their own perception of what all that means. I know what it means to me, and I know as I'm telling you what it means in the context of correct sentence structure. All right. Dead as in corporation or dead person. Why do you think that a corporation is dead? If you're corporate, a corporation means two or more entities, right? Isn't that what that means? I mean, I don't know what it means to you. What does the word corporation mean in your correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar dictionary? What is your finite meaning of the word corporation in your correct sentence structure dictionary? Because that's what we're talking about here. This is a grammar channel. We're not talking about fiction now. Now we're in the domain of fact. What does it mean? What does your finite mean? If you could copy and paste it into the comments field, what your correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar, finite mean of corporation is. And why does it mean dead? I'm just asking for closure. Correct sentence structure closure. Because that's what we're here to do, right? We're here to talk about correct sentence structure. I think I need proper closure on quantum grammar. I purchased a live claim from RGG and was highly disappointed. Well, that seems to be a common theme. I don't have a finite mean. My account was compromised. I'd like to learn more and be involved in quantum grammar world. I'm just low on funds and feel bad about utilizing people's time. As in time and knowledge is valuable. I respect yours. Well, Amun-Ra, I mean, the value of a thing is what you ascribe to it. You prioritize what you prioritize. For folks that feel the way you feel, there are over 1,000 videos on this channel. Over 1,000 videos. Everything is here that you need to know, or that not that you need to know, but everything is here. All the complete mechanics of correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar are available for free on this channel. It's just up to you to put the time in to study it. If you want me to be your guide and tutor, then that would put value on the table. Because if I went around just, giving out workshops here and there, I wouldn't have time to do anything else. And I certainly wouldn't be able to pay rent or bills or anything like that. So I hope you get what I'm saying here. Everything's available for free on this YouTube channel if you feel that way. For the corporation of the finite mean is with the claim of this continuance with the contract vessel of these two contract parties or of these auxiliary contract parties with the continuum contract by this claim. And backwards, what that says is for this claim of the continuum contract is with these auxiliary contract parties or with these two contract parties of the contract vessel with the continuance of the claim with the finite mean by the corporation. So what that means in all simplicity is that a corporation, in my dictionary, my correct sentence structure closure on it just means it's a continuing contract between two or more contract parties. And contract parties can't be dead. This is a fiction concept. I know a lot of people have trouble letting go of the fiction. They imprint the fiction on everything that they look at. But that's certainly not how it is in my life. Well, two or more people coming together means, well, one is, in the context you're talking about of David-Wynn Miller, one is opinion, two is certification, three is authority. I appreciate everybody out there that's participated, quadruple A. Especially appreciate you for your participation and your questions. Amun Ra, I wish you well on your journey. Thank you for your membership. Lily Santelli, thank you very much for your positive performance comments. Tedberry Combo, thanks for always coming out and showing up. Appreciate your loyalty and your consistency. And hopefully, I will take what we did here today and compile it into a condensed version and publish it to the public. This particular version of the video, unedited, except maybe I will cut out the music at the beginning, will be available to the members in the members section. Tier 2 loyalist contributors members, though, they'll be able to watch it as many times as they want. Again, thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate the over 6,000 subscribers. Couldn't do it without you. Whether you support me through Buy Me a Coffee or Super Chats, Super Stickers, or simply subscribing, commenting, chatting, liking the videos is a huge help. Sharing the videos on your social media platforms, all that stuff helps. I appreciate everybody. Thank you. Peace.